Hey guys, before we start the pod, we have to give a shout out to our new sponsors of the show. They are the Patreons from Patreon, and we actually have 3 that actually just helped us out. These are people that are keeping our servers up and operational. We really appreciate everything you guys do for us. Today we have a shout out, my cousin Eric Sari, our longtime listener and friend Andy Herbrandt, and of course Lauren L. And we have a huge shout out. This is awesome. This is great for us. It's going to keep the lights on, the servers going, new content. And, we got the extra content up too, so you can see that as well. But Eric, if you want to cue up that music, let's begin the show.
Hey, welcome to the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast. We are your hosts, Eric Sturgeon.
And I'm Russell Sari.
This podcast is about all things Wisconsin: history, music, culture, and beer. Although we don't often use strong language, the content is not intended for young audiences, so listener discretion is advised.
If you love the bluegrass music you hear in this intro, please check out Dang It's from Madison, Wisconsin by visiting their website, dang-its.com. Now on to the show.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast, your weekly dose of the Dairy State. We, of course, are your hosts, Eric.
And as always, I'm Russ.
And today's episode is about a person that, myself and Russ hold fairly near and dear to our hearts. A massive inspiration for not only us and the things that we do, but also to many comedians and actors alike that have kind of come after him. We, of course, are talking about our Madison, Wisconsin hero and Marquette alum, Chris Farley. And we also have great Wisconsin music in today's episode from Mascot Theory. We have another beer review, an edition of the infamous How Many Locos You Went, as well as an interview. And it's a special interview that basically another really great up north Wisconsin comedian, which
she's awesome,
which is great, very fitting. So another hero of ours, Mary Mack, who you may recognize from such great shows as Aqua Teen Hunger Force, the Conan O'Brien Show, Polka Clarinet Master, and all-around funny stand-up comedian.
Yeah, and I wanted to give a little shout-out because a lot of us don't know this. So I know I'm sick of politics. I'm sure you are, Eric. These guys they're suit dummies, right? Like they don't understand the true issues. But Mary Mack will be running for politics up north Wisconsin. And we'll definitely be on her trail. And you bet we're going to support her. And she loves the issues like the small farms, the small farming stuff. She's not into the commercial dairy. There's a lot of issues up north that a lot of people don't know. These suit dummies don't know. They're just a silver spoon-fed $1 million kid. They don't understand the true issues like Mary does. She's actually been raised in the Northwood. She understands this. And she supports local farms too, and like we do. Yeah. And the one thing we always say, if you're gonna buy milk from the grocery store, look at the serial number, and what you want to look for is the 55-number. That means you're getting Wisconsin milk from a Wisconsin farmer. Right. As always, we love Wisconsin, so support your local farmers.
Yeah, and we also just wanted to again, hey, if you could go on, rate, review, subscribe, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. Reach out to us. We've made it very simple for you. Our website, WisconsinDrunkenHistory.com. It's got everything. You can contact us directly through that. You can find our Patreon page directly through that. You can go to our TeePublic page to find some merch to go ahead and get you through this summer heat. We've got tank tops available. So you can bust your guns out and, get a nice tan.
Sun's out, guns out, baby.
Yeah. So, definitely visit us at WisconsinDrunkenHistory.com to kind of keep an eye on all the different things that we're doing. And you can even listen to the show there as well. So definitely be tuned to that. And we also wanted to mention that the Patreon, we've been shooting special videos, brewery tours, a bunch of extra content, and it's exclusive to those who are patrons and who subscribe to us there. So definitely visit the Patreon through our website in order to kind of get a little more info on the different tiers that exist. We wanted to thank everyone who is currently helping us keep the lights on. As Russ mentioned at the top of the show, they are our sponsors, in reality. So if you want to, find any of that information, again, WisconsinDrunkenHistory.com. Let's go ahead and talk about Chris Farley.
So I'm sure every one of our listeners are going to be familiar with the legend of comedy, and in my opinion, the GOAT, greatest of all time, baby. We're talking about Chris Farley. And we all know the tragic events that led up to his death, but we wanted to focus on the hero, who's a massive inspiration to us, and just give like an overview of Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Because, like I'm going to say at the end here, there's a lot of documentaries out there. You can see the negative side of things, and we don't want to get into that. We just want to highlight our hero today. So born Christopher Crosby Farley on February 15th of 1965 in Madison, Wisconsin, specifically the Maple Bluff area. His father, Thomas John Farley Sr., who owned an oil company, and mother, Mary Ann, who was a homemaker. He had a total of 4 siblings, Tom Jr., Kevin, John, and Barbara, and the Farleys grew up Irish Catholic. And Farley would attend parochial schools around the Madison area, including Edgewood High School of the Sacred Heart, and would throughout his life attend Catholic Mass. Even during his darker periods, he would always attend Mass. Like, he never skipped that. And in his youth, he spent much of his time as a camper and a counselor at the Red Arrow Camp in Minocqua, actually, which is pretty cool. You know, we all have been to Minocqua. We know Minocqua.
I mean, imagine how many lives he shaped even just there,
Oh, yeah, and just imagine how funny he must have been. I wish I had him as a counselor. It was so cool. He was a graduate of Marquette University in 1986 with a double major in communications and theater. In school, he would play rugby, and led him to discover what we are talking about today, his amazing comedy career that we all know and love.
A very physical comedian, some of the greats before him, Michael Richards, really best known for his ability to just sort of shape his body and make motions and do things that you wouldn't otherwise see. And Chris Farley was amazing at that.
Oh, the over animation, just hilarious guy. Yeah, just hilarious. So after graduating, he would work for his father's Scotch Oil Company in Madison while performing on the side and going to the Arc Improv Theater in Madison, where Dennis Kern, who also helped Joan Cusack get a career in comedy. So he became pretty well known. And realizing he had quite the talent, his family and Dennis would help him improve his career, where he first performed Improv Olympics in Chicago and also attended the Chicago Second City Theater, and which was actually the same day that Stephen Colbert came on board of the cast.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool that these guys, a lot of these guys came from this area that were becoming up and coming at this time. And he started to tour Second City's touring group, and eventually, due to the knack for comedy, he would be promoted right to their main stage right away in 1989 and performed some of his first shows, such as The Gods Must Be Lazy, It Was 30 Years Ago Today, and Flag Smoking Permitted Only in Lobby, Only Sensorama. So those are some of his first shows he was performing. And it wasn't long before the big time started to pick up on Farley's talent. And in 1999... it was announced that he'd be joining the cast of SNL. 1990, sorry. Along with Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Tim Meadows, David Spade, eventually earning the titles of the bad boys of SNL, which was my favorite period.
I mean, I was just going to say, I think, to me, when you mention all of those names that you just said, I mean, those guys have all now gone on to have, huge, illustrious, both movie and TV fame. You can't literally see a comedy on Netflix or something, since the 1990s without one of these guys, starring in it. And all of them were in the top of the box office at some point. I mean, it's just amazing the talent that Saturday Night Live and Lorne Michaels tend to find and procure.
It's nuts. And so this is like probably the most famous skits come out of, and obviously the one that we really love is Matt Foley, who was like a crazy motivational speaker with the line "living in a van down by the river."
Now, as your father probably told you.
And this character was actually based off a real life person who was a pastor at St. James Catholic Church and an Army chaplain who was in Arlington Heights. And this character originally being a character he played with Second City, and also came from him on his rugby team at Marquette, where he would gather the players together and do a similar pitch, like, "Oh, let me tell you guys."
Well, he would
something.
act like a coach, which was really funny. And he would always talk about how his dad, Tom, was a coach of his in youth sports. Nothing big time, but just like in the youth sports. And he would always be like, "My dad was just such an aggressively loud, yelling, just angry man," and that's exactly where he went in order to find that inspiration for that character.
And the other famous skit that I really love is the Bill Swirsky Superfans.
Yeah,
the Bears.
Yeah.
and which was a Chicago Polish sausage eating and Ditka worshipping skit, which was
Absolutely,
hilarious,
yeah.
man. It was funny.
Ditka to them was God, and the Bears and the Bulls were, I mean, just, you know, the teams to worship.
He may have had a couple heart attacks sucking down some Polish sausages.
Makes about a beaker's dozen.
So, you know, other ones that we can't forget to include are obviously the Chip and Dale skit with Patrick Swayze, the Gap Girls, lay off me, I'm starving, which was great.
Save some for us.
Hey, Cindy, I thought you were going on a diet. And, of course, you know, the Chris Farley show where he would awkwardly interview guests, like with
Paul
the likes of Paul McCartney was
yeah.
a huge one that was on there.
The Paul McCartney and then the Jeff Daniels one, those two are just
They're so
ridiculous.
Good. I know. And then, of course, you know, the other ones like the Lunch Lady with Adam Sandler, Lunch Lady Land.
Yeah.
And Eric, did you have another one? I know we always joke about the Colombian Crystals one.
Yeah, so the Colombian Coffee Crystals one is so good. He does one where he's like a wrestler and he's talking about El Nino.
It means the Nino.
This was obviously during his tenure on SNL was during Operation Desert Storm, Desert Shield. So they talked about like some of the different missions and some of the different like personalities that sort of came out of that, you know, because SNL always does the political stuff.
Oh yeah,
anything that's pop culture in the news right now, they do amazing stuff. And you know, he would be like, "I want Schwarzkopf," and I mean, just some of the skits that he would do. Again, such physical presence, and the yelling and the amount of energy that he had was just so infectious.
I know. And do you remember the one where he goes to jail, right? And he like does a motivational speaker there at jail.
Yeah,
he's a Matt Foley.
He accidentally rides the bike through the
You're
wall.
my bitch.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's amazing.
It's so good. So, and off screen, Farley always was just looking for a laugh and was known for his pranks such as mooning cars, phone farting, and even once defecating out the window of a limousine, which is pretty freaking hilarious in my opinion.
Yeah.
He would eventually be fired from SNL in 1995 due to him being too damn fun for them, in my opinion. He's awesome.
Definitely an over-the-top thing, you know?
Yeah, and he was also known for his extensive film career, including some of the SNL comedies like Wayne's World 1 and 2, Coneheads, Airheads, and of course the bus driver in Billy Madison. No yelling on the bus!
Yeah.
Which is like a true Wisconsin bus driver. We all had that guy.
Oh, for sure. The guy who
I'm going
was
to pull this thing over!
overweight, sweaty, a comb over, just always pissed.
And in the early days, he even appeared in one of the Red Hot Chili Peppers music videos, A Soul to Squeeze.
Yeah, Soul to Squeeze, and then...
and a side note, too. You know, the Red Hot Chili Peppers on the song Purple Stain from the 1990 album Californication actually featured a lyrics that stated, Farley is an angel and I can prove this.
Right. So, I mean, Californication, one of the you know, great albums by Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is a thing I didn't even know.
Really?
I read about this in our research for this episode, and almost instantly went and checked out Purple Stain, a song that I had been listening to for years, and I guess I just really didn't pay attention.
Well, it's, you know, Anthony Kiedis sometimes has like lyrics where it's kind of hard to understand, but if you listen to it, you're gonna hear the lyric.
And I guess if I didn't know that he was in Soul to Squeeze was off one of their earlier albums.
Yeah.
I've heard the song 100 times.
Yeah.
However, never saw the video. I still haven't seen the video. That is something we'll have to check out.
You got to check that out. It's
so
awesome.
I mean, just really fun little facts.
Yeah, and you know, also he was on a lot of television shows, and we're not going to go too into that, but he's on All That with Keenan.
He was the chef on there.
Yeah, he was the chef.
I've seen that.
He was on the show Tom and Roseanne a couple times, and I mean, obviously he was really good friends with like
Tom Arnold,
and John Goodman. So he had some linkage. So that's kind of how he got into
100%,
those. 100%,
yeah.
And he went on to star in some of his own films, including the legendary Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, starring, you know, his SNL friend David Spade, which is like his most iconic roles.
Duo, yeah. I mean, and then the one that I think doesn't get enough play is both Beverly Hills Ninja and the do we talk about it later?
Yeah, it's coming up. So he was also given roles, making him a bankable star, including Beverly Hills Ninja. And maybe some unknown facts that you guys might not know is that he was actually scheduled to be the voice of the ogre in Shrek before passing away. And actually about 85 to 95% of the dialogue, and you can listen to it on YouTube.
You can listen to it. It was released in 2015, a good portion of it already linked up and synced up to the animation as well. And it's actually pretty damn good. Sad knowing, what happened, but...
And he was also included posthumous in the movies Almost Heroes and Dirty Work, which are hilarious movies. And, they actually, he was lined up to do a lot of other things that never came to be, such as the third installment of Ghostbusters, which could you imagine that? That would have been awesome.
And I read more about that script, is that there was an overpopulation of hell. Is what the third one was set to be at the time, and none of the original cast would be involved. It would just be Chris and then a new gang of people.
I could just imagine him yelling like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah,
just going
he's down
off.
in hell trying
just
to
going off.
Suck ghosts into a fucking vacuum.
He was also going to be in Captain Underpants and play the principal in Captain Underpants.
In fact, the author reached out to him in particular and wanted him to play the main character.
And even the cable guy, which was given to Jim Carrey, but actually Farley had to turn this role down. He was still alive at the time.
It was given to Farley, but it had never gone into any sort of production before Farley had an issue with scheduling.
Yeah, I think it was like a scheduling issue when it came down to. And obviously, we all know Chris Farley battled a lot of addiction and depression. And although we don't want to dive into the mental health issue, and it can be very tragic. I mean, everybody suffers from some kind of demon, and it's like the way you deal with it is how it kind of,
right.
A lot of people that seem happy on the outside sometimes have some demons on the inside.
Absolutely. And I think that's really, truly telling of Farley's desire to, at any moment, just get somebody to look at him, laugh, and he wanted to just make everybody, that way. In fact, I heard this really cool story of Boffo the Clown. And I don't want to go on too much of a tangent, but essentially this guy goes into his psychiatrist's office. He's having an appointment, and he's just like, "Hey, doctor, we've done everything we can. We've tried medicine. We've tried, different types of therapy and stuff. I just don't think it's working, and I think I'm going to end it." And the doctor goes, "Hey, I don't think it's time. I think we just need to do this. Here's 2 tickets to go see Boffo the Clown. This guy is absolutely hilarious, and he can make anybody smile. He literally can make anybody smile." The guy goes, "I am Boffo the Clown."
Yeah. No, that's
truly telling.
That's
the guy that can make everybody laugh might not be laughing himself.
No.
And so, again, not to go on too much of a tangent, if you need help, there are many different ways to do that, and especially this year alone, 2020 was very different and very weird. So there are many different ways to get mental health help, and you can do it right from the comfort of your own home, and at very, very reasonable rates.
Yeah, and it's really sad. I mean, there's so many comedians that have passed away, like Robin Williams recently, and a lot of other ones with the same issue. They seem so great on the outside, but really there's some really hard demons that they just can't fight on the inside. And, you don't have to go through it alone. There's suicide prevention lines. There's a lot of help out there. If you know somebody suffering, definitely reach out to them.
Yeah.
Sometimes all you need is a damn hug.
Exactly.
And Chris Farley passed away on December 18th of 1997, where younger brother John found him in his apartment in the John Hancock Center at the age of 33. Mm-hmm. He died of a speedball concoction, which is a mix of cocaine and morphine. And ironically, John Belushi died at the same age from a similar mix of drugs. And a private service was held in Madison on December 23rd, 1997 at Our Lady Queen of Peace Catholic Church in his hometown of Madison, Wisconsin, where around 500 people would attend. Many of his friends of the SNL cast.
Different SNL cast, yeah.
Including Dan Aykroyd, who he starred with Coneheads, and Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, Rob Schneider, and John Goodman, just to name a few.
Yeah.
And David Spade didn't attend, but... it wasn't because he was mad at him, and there's no ill will. I want to say that right away. He just was too emotionally overwhelmed by everything, and he just couldn't face it, and I get that. I mean, for me, there's very few times in my life where I cry. Like, sometimes I have to be a rock a lot of times, but when Chris Farley died, I cried.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly remember being upset. I mean, I don't know that I cried, but I thought, holy man, one of the movies that I was trying to think of was Almost Heroes, and obviously that was released posthumously, and he was just such a character in that damn film, and you don't even realize that he could be feeling something completely different internally because he's so infectious.
He
makes you want to get off the couch and try to do something.
I mean, I wish I knew him in real life because like he's totally like us. Like we're kind of the same personalities.
We would certainly fit in well.
We're sarcastic all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty much my entire life is sarcastic. I don't take a lot of things seriously. It kind of helps me live and get through some stressful times.
Yeah.
So. And on August 27, 2005, the 2,289th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was erected in his honor. And we didn't get to citing like a lot of more of the negative things because I don't want to cover that. And, I just wanted to highlight his career and like what an amazing legend he was to everyone, And if you wish to visit his burial spot, it's at the Resurrection Cemetery in Madison, Wisconsin. And if you want to learn more about maybe some of the negative things, some more information on his life, there are a lot of documentaries out there now that you can actually watch. Probably the more common one was the Chris Farley Show and I Am Chris Farley are probably the two main ones.
Yeah, I Am Chris Farley is very good. I would encourage anybody who's interested at all to see that. And
if you want to get a little frog in your throat, if you will, his friend Adam Sandler actually wrote a song that was featured on 100% Fresh, where he wrote a song to his friend Chris Farley.
Yeah, so that's Adam's Netflix special, comedy special, which you can find on Netflix, called 100% Fresh, like you said. Really cool, and you can hear that song.
Yeah, I mean, when he did pass away, I think I was only like 12 years old, and I used to watch those movies over and over again, Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, and like quote lines from him all the time. And I was just a kid, but I loved Chris Farley.
And even one of the ones that I don't even think we mentioned, Dirty Work, where again he just played like a small role.
Yeah.
Pete No Nose or something like that.
Yeah.
Damn hooker bit my nose off.
He it's so good.
I love on
in just a few lines.
In Coneheads, where he plays the rebel boyfriend, the motorcycle rebel that comes with the family. Oh god!
Remember,
so
she
awesome.
eats the full Subway sub.
Yeah,
and he just goes, "Whoa, that was cool!
Baby.
You eat faster than I do."
Yeah, but that's going to conclude our main segment today. And again, we love Chris Farley, and rest in peace, my friend.
And now on to our music segment. Again, we are talking about Mascot Theory. Russ, I mean, give us a little more info here.
So yeah, Mascot Theory is from Madison, Wisconsin. They're kind of like an alt country. They got a little bluegrass twang to them. Just an all-around great band. And, I reached out to these guys, and I was really hoping they get back to me because I love the Mascot Theory. Another one of Madison's top-notch bands. Obviously, I've seen them on the PBS Music Hour, which is actually only a half hour, but they call it Music Hour. And these guys are awesome. And I love the song that they gave us today, which is Part-Time Valentine. And I got a little side story about a part-time Valentine I had in high school. So there was a girl I kind of had a crush on, right? I really cared about her. She didn't really like me. She only loved me when she needed help with her chemistry, physics, and math homework. And it was pretty hard on me when I was a kid, I was pretty insecure in the first place, so that really just took a blow to me. And I think we've all kind of had that part-time Valentine in our life at some point.
Yeah, definitely.
So I love this song, and again, this is Mascot Theory, Part-Time Valentine.
Sleep tight, 'cause tomorrow the world dies. Oh, oh. Right now, the soldiers are marching days. No time to be picking or choosing days. Why? Those the silence of blare. Hold on tight if you got someone to cling to. Have tonight, come daylight, I can't make it to church on time. I could be yours, you could be mostly mine. Would you be my part-time Valentine? Lights out, everybody get out. wonder. Skip town, it's the end of the world. This cold night, you should be somebody's girl. We only have tonight. Come daylight, we can't make it to a church on time. I could be yours, you can be mostly mine. Would you be mine? Part-time Valentine. I could be yours, you could be mostly mine. Would you be mine? Part-time Valentine. Out, everybody get out. Sleep tight, cause tomorrow the world dies. Oh, oh, oh. I could be yours, or you could be mostly mine. Would you be mine? Part-time Valentine. I could be yours.
All right. That was a good song. I mean, Mascot Theory just has that ability to sort of bring it. And I mean, the drums on that, I know this was kind of like a live version from the studio, and the drums had a really good mix to them. It just sounded really, really good. That bass, the bass guitar with that bass drum, and then the rhythm guitar in the back there really just made the song go.
Yeah,
and that's what the rhythm section really is there for. Sounded so good. We now have a very good beer review for you. I have had this one before at MobCraft. We do these things called Paws on the Patio. I go with a few of my coworkers and friends, and we're able to bring our dogs. They have a nice little patio section there right on the street, and you get to hang out, drink beers, and hang out with pups, man. It's cool.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So I'm going to go over the beer now. So we're dealing with the Brett Shake IPA from MobCraft. MobCraft located in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We're actually, if you tune into our Patreon, you're going to see a video of behind the scenes. You can actually see inside the tour of the facility with us. So if you're out of state, at least, hey, you can still go to MobCraft with us and enjoy this. But this one is the Brett Shake IPA coming in at 6.5% ABV. It comes in a 12 floral ounce can, and this one is a Brett fermented milkshake IPA. And for those of our listeners who aren't very familiar with the beer science, Brett is a wild occurring yeast, so it's more of a sour flavor you're going to get out of that beer, and which you're probably going to get out of this. I'm going to taste it right now. Eric, do you want to go over some of the notes?
Yeah, I mean, it is, it's just sort of I don't really get a whole milkshake vibe out of it. So I don't really think that there's a whole lot in the way of lactose sugar going on, but it's a straightforward IPA. I mean,
yeah. So Brett kind of sometimes has that like farmhouse taste to it. Like I guess hay would be kind of the thing I would compare it to, like hay.
Exactly.
And like it has sometimes a very funky scent to it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a sour, but because it's that milkshake IPA, it's balancing out the sourness, and you're actually just more of an IPA with a creamy IPA. In my opinion, you get more of the creaminess coming through.
It's not that bitter. It's the milkiness of it is what's really trying to taper it down a bit, which is great. This one is one of those ones that I would say falls into that category of, hey, if you're used to drinking Miller, Budweiser, something like that, this would be a potential flip for you to try craft beer, and maybe not in a way that would frighten you, you know?
Yeah, and this one pours clear with just a hint of yellow, just kind of like your domestics, actually. It's really tasty, very well carbonated. It's not over carbonated. And this one's from their Wild and Sour program. And I just wanted to make a little shout out because our friend Henry is a great guy. Right now, MobCraft has a thing where you can actually invest in MobCraft and become part of the team, basically, for investing in the company. And, just a thing to do to support your local brewery. But like I said, we're actually, on this recording day, we're going to be filming there.
We are heading to MobCraft as of this recording in order to do some behind-the-scenes stuff. Again, only available to our patrons. So if you want to see some of this additional content, which we can go ahead and plug a little bit right now, Russ has been filming a series called Stumbling into the Bush, where he basically does his take on Discover Wisconsin. I mean, he shows you around
where to camp,
around the corner with John McGibbon.
Yeah, like where to
Something
camp,
similar.
some small town stuff. Where to camp, maybe some outdoor activities you can do with your family while you're in Wisconsin.
Yeah,
like we did the first episode is us canoeing down the lower scenic riverway on the Wisconsin River there, and explaining where you can camp on the banks. The second one's with Tower Hill, the shot tower where they made musket balls.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely if you're willing to help a couple independent guys out, support a podcast, we love to have you on board, and you get a shout out at the top of the show. So
and to be honest with you, the shout out comes at the $5 level. You get all the additional content, shout out on the show. We'll take all of your ideas and considerations into consideration rather. So some of these things that we're going to be talking about actually came directly from our patrons, different things that they want to see from us. We also do live like Q&A type stuff. And so at the $5 level, you get all of that. So for just $5 a month, you get all of that additional stuff. At the $2 level, you get all the additional content.
So think about it, for less than a value meal at the old McDizzles or a cup of coffee,
Starbucks.
less than a Starbucks coffee, you can enjoy a whole bunch of extra content, and you support two local Wisconsin guys.
And I think Andy, one of our patrons, said it best. He said, this is almost as if you ran into an old friend at a bar and you didn't intend to see them there. You would probably walk up to that person and say, let me grab you a beer. That's the same idea. This is you buying
$5 pint.
This is you buying Russ and I a beer once a month. Like we ran into you, and in addition, you get some really cool stuff. Well, we think it's cool. I spend my time doing all the post processing on it. I put together the videos in our studio here, and we shoot it on all of the the different equipment that we have. And then the other big thing is I wrote the little jingle for the beginning of Stumbling into the Bush. So that's really neat. I don't know if you've heard it, but really fun. we really enjoy doing this stuff for you. And the reason we do it is because it gives us some sort of satisfaction. I
mean, we love the state of Wisconsin as an avid outdoorsman, fisherman. I try to enjoy
sharing that.
Yeah, I enjoy everything Wisconsin, in my opinion. And there's going to be other things like touring cheese facilities. Just some really fun things. I mean, not only that, but we had Uncle Jesse's Liquor Kitchen where he's going to make us some specialty drinks hopefully in the future.
Yeah, we're still trying to get some of that stuff scheduled and worked out. So a lot of stuff in the future that we're going to be doing that just is exciting, and I think it's fun to see Russ and I just sort of in our natural habitat outside of just listening to our dumb voices sometimes.
And yeah, you're going to hear the previous episode, which is about the Lady Elgin. And there's actually a traditional Irish song that me and my friend Ryan are actually recording soon where we're going to actually do the thing in his little shanty and do an old school shanty and give it to you guys.
You guys should record it here, though.
You think we should? We will. We'll do it anywhere.
The studio's got all the professional gear,
The studio shanty here, so.
So absolutely awesome. Again, MobCraft, though, if you're enjoying the show, Henry and the folks there at MobCraft are friends of ours, and they have a really awesome facility there. I encourage everybody to go check it out. And while you're down there, I mean, there's not hundreds, but I'm going to go ahead and say hundreds of other breweries you can go and check out in that same neighborhood. There's a place that does seltzers right down the road too. That's absolutely amazing. They're so cool.
Great Lakes Distillery is like right
GLD
kitty corner,
is like right there.
I mean, don't get too wrecked. Make sure you got an Uber, and always drink responsibly, like we always say. You know, so
grab a seat, gather round, join us for a chat. How many locos you at?
All right, folks, you know what that means, and we have another how many locos you wet, brother, and this one's coming from our hometown again. Holy smokes.
We've had a few recently of some fine Walworth County folk from the Elkhorn area, and this one is really cool because we have a former Elkhorn political person.
So this is a political DUI.
He held office, and he was the former mayor of Elkhorn, Wisconsin. And he had been charged with drunken driving, and the prosecutors say it is his fourth.
So he hit the
such
quattro.
incident.
He hit the quattro.
He nailed the quattro.
Okay.
And he stuck the landing.
Oh, yeah.
A criminal complaint issued by the Walworth County District Attorney says the previous mayor was convicted of drunken driving in 1996, 98, 2003, and then again in, I believe this was 2019. And so he was elected to the Elkhorn City Council in 2012. And after serving 2 years as alderman, he served as mayor from 2014 to 2016. So it was very recent that he held those different offices in the political realm, alderman and mayor. And he was contacted at his home, which he declined to discuss his newest offense. And although he did actually say he assumed it would become public sooner or later, and it's unfortunate for the community, but I do not have any comment. So he declined to elaborate. If convicted on the felony charge of operating while under the influence, fourth offense, the former mayor could be sentenced to as much as 6 years in prison and fined up to $10,000. According to the criminal complaint, police in the town of Delavan had stopped him on the suspicion of speeding at about 5 in the afternoon. That was on December 1st. And that was on County Road F near the State Highway 50.
Which is over by like the Walmart and stuff,
Right.
Delvin Lake Lawn Lodge.
Exactly.
kind of,
Just
so,
past
okay.
Lake Lawn is County Road F. The police reported that he smelled of alcohol, failed a sobriety test, and that the officers actually had found 6 empty bottles of twisted tea
Holy crap.
in the vehicle. And the complaint says that he told police that he had consumed only 2 twisted teas and 3 22-ounce beers at lunch.
Okay.
Okay.
So he started early.
But and here's the thing. It's
How many teas
believable,
you at?
But the tea is definitely not believable.
Those
he
are
has 6
heavy.
empties.
Those are heavy too.
But he has 6 empties in his car. And he's telling the police, I only drank 2.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that you should lie when the evidence is in your seat.
Those teas actually made him twisted.
And they're not super high alcohol content, but he says he has 22-ounce beers and stuff. So the results of the breathalyzer at this time of the article was pending.
So they don't give us the actual
rate
or anything,
the district attorney issued the drunken driving charge on the 2nd, so the following day. And the court records indicate that he is free on bond and is due back in court at, like I said, at the time of this article, December 20th for a preliminary hearing. There has been an update. He did not serve any jail, or not any jail time, but he served his mandatory 1 week in jail, and then he did the alcohol treatment
program.
So, and for those of you who aren't familiar necessarily, the alcohol treatment program is a 1 year long program that it includes some stuff in the court system where you are doing mandatory treatment with medical advisors. Essentially, you're staying sober. You have alcohol tests, piss tests, drug tests multiple times a week throughout the week. You have generally for the first half of the whole thing, so like for 6 months, you have a breathalyzer that you have to do 3 times a day.
Oof. And
it's location based and everything, so they know where you are, what you're doing, and it records all that stuff. It's a very intense program that has proven to be very successful in rehabilitating individuals. So, and it's only available for those with a 3rd and 4th offense.
Okay.
Anything more, you can't do.
Okay.
But 3rd and 4th, and you can't do the program twice. So if you get your 3rd and you do it, unfortunately, the 4th, you're going to get nailed with some of the things they said here. Possibly a $10,000 fine, possibly a few years in prison.
So we got a few things here at least now.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a political DUI, age 43.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously failed the drinking test. We know there's 6 empties in the car, so we had 6 plus 3 so that's 9. Roughly 9. Twisted teas are a little heavier on the scale.
But remember, those are 22-ounce beers as well.
True.
So you can basically just count those as 2.
And those were at lunch. So he probably started early. So I'm guessing, he woke up at 8 o'clock. So 9 beers over those 4 hours, roughly.
Yeah.
So I think I have a number, Eric. Do you have something here?
I've got a rough figure. I'm not really sure how confident I feel
don't know
about
either
it
because it's not quite the blackout, so I don't know what I'm going to go with here.
Yeah.
I got some idea, but I think I got mine. If you want to go on 3,
absolutely, man. All right, 1, 2, 3, 6.
Okay, I was going to go high. I was going to go 10.
Okay.
So
yeah, I know it's not.
I don't know. I don't feel super confident on that either.
Yeah.
But because he probably has a pretty good tolerance.
Yeah.
So
and I'd say with Four Loko, you have 1 whole can that puts you at 4.
Yeah.
And then I think he was maybe halfway through the second.
Okay.
Because these are higher alcohol drinks, Four Lokos, whereas he was drinking stuff that's relatively low. I know he's a Miller Lite guy.
Okay.
I know that for a fact. I played softball with this individual. So I know that his beer of choice is always Miller Lite. And those Twisted Teas, they're about as alcoholic as like a normal beer.
Yeah.
Maybe 4%, maybe 5%. And those just don't equate the same way to Four Loko as you and I can absolutely speak volumes about.
So are you thinking we're going to meet in the middle then, go 8 Loco on this and Ocho?
Well, and I'll tell you, 8 or 9 was like my initial feeling before I really gave it a lot of thought. So 6 was where I landed. You were all the way at like 10. 8, I feel very comfortable saying an 8 Loco is perfect.
All right, Eric, do you want to sound that gavel for us? All right, today we're here with Mary Mack, one of my Wisconsin favorite comedians. How are you doing, Mary Mack?
Hi, Ross. Thanks for having me on. I love that you're doing this podcast about Wisconsin. It makes me real happy.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I know we kind of wanted it to be like, if you're going up north there and you just need something funny to listen to. And I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, I got a gig coming up where I'm making some videos for Drink Wisconsinably. I don't know if you heard of them, but I think you all should get together with your titles. Oh, yeah. No, we've always wanted to get them on the show. I mean, it's funny because we always say that in the show, too, because we do like a little funny article where because Wisconsin has its fair share of DUIs that are pretty funny. I mean, not funny, but they are. But we always say drink responsibly. Never drink and drive if you can help it.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So Mary Mack, can you give us a little bit of a hint of how you got started in comedy?
Oh, okay. Well, it's pretty Wisconsin actually. I went to school for music in Oshkosh, and then I taught at the Catholic school there, and then I went to my grad school in Tennessee, and for music still. And while I was down there, I just really missed home, and I missed I really love polka, so I started a polka band down there.
Awesome.
And we would play at gigs, and the players, there's only two of us from Wisconsin, so the rest of the players were a little bit unfamiliar with the genre.
Yeah.
And I had to talk a lot between songs. And then the crowds kept telling us that they liked the talking better than the songs. And so then you never want to hear that as a band, right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, well, my roommate, I'm from up by Superior, and she's from way down by Kenosha, from Kenosha, and she's kept signing me up for open mics where I just talk. And I thought, I can't believe you can just talk and people listen to you, and you don't even have to carry the drums at 1 a.m. And it was like just so much easier. So I got into it through my polka band, just from stalling for time because we weren't that good.
That's amazing. I know I'm a huge polka fan. It's just because I was, we used to go to the Pulaski and go to the polka festival.
Yes. Oh, that's great. I have I don't play so much anymore, but I have my yearly gig coming up in Danbury, Wisconsin, with my former band director from elementary school and high school. We have a band of whoever remembers to bring their instruments, and then we just rehearse in the garage before it. And we're not the professional band they bring in, but we're the warm up act.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the one song I always laugh about. It's like you're gonna love it if you just try it or something like that. It's one of my favorite polka songs, and it's so bad, and everyone always rips on me. It's like, hey, haven't you ever heard of Frankie Yankovic and all those guys? Come on now.
Yeah. I'm rusty on my polka lyrics, but I used to have them down pretty good. But it's been over. Oh gosh, I don't even want to say how long it's been. It's probably been almost 20 years since I was going crazy in polka bands. So yeah. Anyway, we'll see. It'll come back. I'll probably be practicing clarinet a lot this year, so
awesome.
Maybe I'll get another one. Yeah.
And if we can make our way up to Danbury, what is the name of your band? Oh,
I don't think we have a name.
It's just polka band.
If you hear what you think sounds like a severe car accident with a lot of rattling, that's probably our band.
Oh, you betcha we'll be there.
Yeah, it's in the ball pit. Ballpark. I call it ball pit, but it's in the ballpark off of Main Street, just south of Main Street. Just go down one of them little roads and you'll run into it. But everybody was so upset because they raised the beer price to $3 for Polliner for the fancy stuff. Warsteiner and Polliner, and it's still $3. It's like $4 cheaper than Milwaukee per beer,
Yeah, right. Or you go to New York and it's like $8, and then you got you come here, it's like $4. It's out of control. Holy cow! Tone it down a notch. Yeah,
people complain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you said you were from Superior there. Were you actually?
Yeah.
Were you just south of Superior there then?
Yeah, I grew up closer to Danbury, Webb Lake, Danbury, Webster. Our school district. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm a half-breed, Russ, because I was born in Minnesota, but I did all my school, and my family still lives in Wisconsin, and my cousins are in Minnesota. But I was born there, grew up in Wisconsin, worked in Wisconsin, college, everything, and then I went to Tennessee, and then went back to Minnesota. And now I'm remodeling a pole barn up north, so I will be probably have my permanent address back in Wisconsin.
Awesome.
And I have these dreams of running for a state rep or the northern rep. I have dreams of it because people don't understand what we need up here or what it's like, and this is where I grew up, you know. So it's very frustrating that we get these like kind of career politicians or whatever coming in here to represent us, and they don't understand the lifestyle. But yeah, my school district was 50. Well, some kids had to drive 50 miles, you know,
Holy
to
cow.
get to school because it was four towns and they're unincorporated except Webster. So Webster was Dairyland, Webster, Danbury.
I know that area well.
Webb
The
Lake.
the little towns
Yeah.
down the little towns down 35 actually. So I know that area really well. So
Yeah. And so what's goofy is there's us, and then you drive like at least maybe 45, 50 minutes to Superior was the next school district up, and then the one south of us was pretty close, Siren, Wisconsin. But yeah, it was and there's money now. What used to be we were like the poorest school district in the state now, and now since 2008 people have been with that recession, people have been taking their vacations there because they're like, we don't have to drive all the way up to North Shore or whatever with the city people. They come to that Burnett County area. So now people at home have gotten smart and they're making money off the tourists.
that's so cool, and it's funny because I've driven through there a couple times, and obviously I've been to like Big Manitou Falls, which is north of town, which is beautiful. But then in town, I think there was a bowling alley we went to. I think it was Tom's Black and Orange, I want to say.
Oh, yeah, Dudley's.
Yeah.
Black and Orange, and now it's Bubba's. But
I've definitely crushed some pins there, so I know that area.
We went there for Fayed.
Oh, really?
We got to go to the bar for Fayed.
That is so cool.
We went to two different bars for Fayed in high school. We went to the Tap to play horseshoes. We walked there, and then we walked down to the bowling alley, and I think is there like 4 lanes? I can't remember. It's itty bitty, but
it's small.
Yeah, it's itty bitty. But that was part of our physical education.
I
had I think my second album was. Oh, I do stand-up comedy. I don't know if we said that. Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
My second album was like in Wisconsin. We play sports. You can drink too. It starts early.
Oh yeah.
So,
and it's funny because it's like there's nothing fancier than seeing those dark wood walls. You're in a nice Wisconsin spot when you see those. Those 70s dark panel walls. Holy cow! Beware.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, you're right.
And I'm trying to think too. Doesn't Webster have another person, another famous person came out of there? I think like a pitcher or something for the LA Angels.
And that's really funny because Jared and his wife Carrie and we went to grade school, elementary school, and high school and college together. We all went down to Oshkosh, and so we all carpooled to Oshkosh, and then Jared Washburn left college, I think after the second year. He got recruited, and then he got pulled up right away from the minors into the Angels, and he won. He was a pitcher on his first year in the majors, and won a World Series ring with the Angels out west.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Yeah. It's just like from small town Wisconsin comes like these two legendary people and one of my favorite comedians. So.
Well, thank you for saying that. And the last I heard, Jared, I saw them a few years back at a show, and they are all settled back in Webster, and they got he breeds bucks, so he's got a deer farm there. And
oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So and his family's real nice, and Carrie's family's great too. Carrie Main was a All-American track person as well.
That's incredible. It's so incredible.
Yeah.
So
it's fun to meet people like that,
So
grow up with them.
So Mary Mack, before we get into the next segment here, is there any way we can find more of Mary Mack? Do you have a website? Where can we find you on YouTube? Let us know.
Well, I'm at marymackcomedy.com. It's Mack. And I put my schedule up there. I have some Wisconsin shows coming up. I don't know when you're airing this, but I'm gonna be in Madison Friday, August 6th, I think it is. Is it the 5th or 6th? I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I'll be in Central Park there. Look up Madison Comedy Week. And then I'll be in Bruce, Wisconsin this coming week. And that's all on my website. And then I'm in Milwaukee, hopefully in October. We're trying to work
Awesome.
something out at the Laughing Tap there. We're trying to work it out. So
Well, we're gonna try to make it to one of your shows, so we'll see us in the crowd. So
yeah, bring your recording gear and I'll bring my recording
right.
gear, and then we'll do a crossover for Drink Wisconsinably and Drunken Wisconsin History.
Sure, yeah, no problem. And so before we let you go, we always ask our guests kind of just some fun, campy questions to find out how Wisconsin are you, if you're willing to participate.
Yeah, I sure am. I sure am. And you know what? I have to tell you, this is why I want to be a state rep or a U.S. rep, is because most of our life we had no idea what was going down in Madison. We have no idea what happens in the south of the state. And we don't know. And now it's still not all the way improved. Since then, people have gotten internet and gotten cable, so they know some skewed news, because you know how cable news is.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just they just go are after one market, so you don't know if you're getting the right news or not. But at least we feel like we get some information now.
Yeah.
We don't get the paper still. We get all the Minnesota stuff is what we get. We only get Minnesota stuff. And so I know I'm stalling you on your show here, but
No.
I think it's important. And where I grew up, you cannot watch a video still on the internet.
That's insane.
Because we still do not have high-speed internet enough to watch a video. It's crazy. So I'm kind of clueless, so some of the questions you ask me, I might not even get them if it seems like a major Wisconsin thing, because we get all the Minnesota news.
Yeah, no worries. And that's why I kind of targeted towards you. I actually made it more up north there, so I'm sure you've done a lot of these. So the first one I got, have you ever eaten a pasty?
That's very Eastern. That's very Nicolette Forrest of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I gotta tell you, I have. But then the last one I had was way back when I was 18 years old, 19 years old maybe, because then I was allergic to gluten my whole life, and now I gotta I bribe my husband when we're driving over across to the UP. I'm like, can I buy you a pasty and see you eat it? and because I just want to eat them so bad, but I can't because I'm allergic. So I live vicariously through others eating pasties, but a lot of people here call them pasties still.
Yeah, it's funny because we actually had an episode on that, and pasties has like another meaning. So we had one of our guests say, "Oh yeah, I've eaten some pasties." I'm like, "Oof, I don't know." Oh my goodness, putting soap in my mouth now. So the next one, it's kind of a Wisconsin question. Where do you consider to be the cutoff for up north Wisconsin?
Oh, I'd say you gotta go north of Merrill to be north. Merrill feels like south, so well north of Wausau, but at least north of 8.
Oh, yeah, I agree. The north of 8's kind of the go-to when you get into like Rhinelander and stuff and going north there on 51.
Yeah, Rhinelander starts to feel up north a little. So that's definitely north of 8, I'd say. But it depends on where you're coming from. If you're coming from Beloit, I betcha Wausau feels up north. So you just got to drive about 4 hours north of where you are.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the next question I got, when it comes to fiberglass cows, we have many of them. Do you actually have a favorite one? I know for me, it's Sissy and Bernice. They're beautiful, glossy Holsteins, and just wondering if you had a favorite.
We're cheated on our fiberglass cows up here.
They don't have enough of them up there, I know.
There's some loons.
Oh, yeah, the loon and Mercer. Holy cow.
Yes, the Mercer loon.
Claire.
Yes,
how you doing, Claire?
Yes. we you know all the statues? Oh, man. We don't have many cows, but there's some beautiful farms up here. And I like how the farms in Wisconsin are keeping it smaller. I don't want any of those southwestern Minnesota factory farms coming in, because the farms in Wisconsin, I still know the families, and it's just like a family that runs it, and they're proud of it, and they have great quality meats and cheese and milk, and I hope that never happens in because Southwest. I'm sorry, I'm going off on my political rant.
No, I
but
agree with you.
I don't like the big factory farms. There's not any pride in them, and they pollute the rivers and creeks. The Southwest Minnesota and Iowa, you can't even swim in there because those greedy factories, they don't even want a 50-foot buffer to the creek.
Yeah,
So
it's nuts.
it's just gross. It's just gross, and it's like, come on, we survived for so long. You
Yeah,
just want to,
yeah.
you just want to export. They're just exporting to Japan and China with all that pork, and it's like, come on, let's have some pride about what we're doing.
And I've heard something like we could restore a lot of the prairies by letting the cows graze again. So they're eating all the seeds and repopulating a lot of the plants that have basically disappeared because of that. So I'm on the same boat as you. I like the smaller.
Yeah.
I support
And
smaller
also,
farms.
It's nice to go tubing down the river without parasites coming out your butt.
Oh,
that
yeah.
happens to my friend down on the Wisconsin and Iowa border. It's like he went into the doctor. He saw this
my
is so gross
gosh.
for your show, but people need to know about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And dogs are dying, and toddlers. There's a toddler in Southwest Minnesota, Iowa border there that went in the lake and died because it goes to your nerves and your brain, because once you get that E. coli, then you get that pig poop in there, and enough cow poop, you get in the fertilizers, you get the blue-green algae, which it's a neuro situation, and your kids can die from it. And we're just in a way where we need to go back to the old-fashioned way of doing things because it's just healthier.
I agree. And you know what's scary is I was just on the Wisconsin River there over by Avoca and Spring Green, like riding my canoe and kind of swimming around in there. Now he got me all scared. I'm puckering up my cheeks as he talks.
Well, yeah, right. No, let him out, Russ. Let him out.
Okay,
Don't keep
get
him in.
out,
Don't
buddy.
keep him in.
All right.
But take it seriously. Like Madison, I don't know what's gonna happen down in Madison, but you can't even. We went camping on, I don't know if it was Lake Mendota or which lake it was with the county park. They wouldn't let us in the beach because of the blue-green algae. They're dumping bleach in the water.
Oh,
It's like, come on.
that makes
we
it
gotta-
better. Come on now.
we just, man, we got to get going on this because we should be able to swim in our lakes and our rivers, and we should not be afraid if your kid goes in it.
All right, Mary, I got a couple more questions for you. The next one.
Sorry, Russ,
No.
I really derailed the show, but it's
No,
just,
I love it.
really love Wisconsin so much.
Me too.
And I just want I want people to be able to enjoy it and appreciate the resources.
No, I
and,
love the
so
message
I
here.
got-
This is awesome. You
Thank
got like a
you.
message
Thank
in the show too. It's not only comedy. We're talking about some political items here. All right.
Yes. I'm starting my campaign right now on drunken Wisconsin history.
Yeah, and you got my vote, so.
Yeah.
And then, so the next one I have for you, it's pretty Wisconsin. Supper Club. Do you have a favorite one you've been to?
I do. And I don't know if it's new owners yet, so I don't want to publicize too much for them because it might not these poor restaurants after COVID, it was hard and they might have had to sell. But my favorite food at a supper club used to be Dreamland in Superior. And, you get the relish tray and everything. So that's my favorite. And my other ones that I grew up with have all closed because it's so hard to keep that style of business open. And then for decor, I would say, how can you not love the decor in the Hobnob down there by Racine? It's just gorgeous. And you got the lake there and everything else. But I guess those are my two favorite. What's yours?
It's kind of a goofy one. I like these small little hodunky ones, and I live really close to Dingaling, which is in Hanover. It's really tiny, but I love it.
Maybe I can get there. I'll get there.
It's so little, and like you support these really small towns, and
The Dingaling?
Yeah, it's called the Dingaling, and they have like the dark wood walls and taxidermy, like you should have in a supper club, and I always laugh about it. So
Yes. Our supper club in Webster burnt down when I was in junior high, I think. It was great though. It was called Oak Grove Supper Club, and right there on I think it was on the Clam River, and just wonderful, but it burnt and they didn't build it back up. My husband and I, we have a dream to, along with my political dream, I have a dream of having a supper club. You can't do both because it's hard work. Holy cow, it's hard work.
And plus touring too. I know you got some tour dates coming up, so you're gonna be pretty burned out, I'm sure. So
I'd have to quit comedy for sure.
But it's awesome. Like I love what you're like talking about here, because this is like everything we love. These small, like we got a hobby farm too, and we let all our chickens kind of just naturally graze, and we like the smaller cheeses, and just
It's kind of I think I don't know. Are you used to that Union Star? Are you close to that Union Star cheese factory? I never knew how to pronounce it. Zito, is it Zito or Zito?
Yeah, I think it's Zito. So I think it's Zito, and then the other one we have really close to us is a Decatur, and I really like those two. Are like my favorites.
Yeah.
They're so good, and you get the squeaky fresh curds. Holy cow!
Yeah, I get my Ellsworth curds when I go visit my mother-in-law, and they sell them in O'Galley, or I say O'Galley. It's not that, but I like to say that. Yeah. That's like two really good curd places. Oh my gosh, I love my curds.
And then I got one more question before we let you go. So, talking about cheese, do you have a favorite style of cheese that you really love?
Well, I really love the fresh cheese curds, and I used to mail them to my friends because you don't have to refrigerate them for 3 days. So I guess that's my all-time favorite, and I'm a purist. I don't like it when people are putting ranch flavor. I don't like any kind of flavor. I just want to taste what they're doing with the cheese.
Oh yeah, it's either the white brick or that like nice soft cheddar with the squeak. Those are my favorites.
Gosh.
So
yeah, I guess my favorite cheese, it's really hard to say because there's so many now that you can get that are available. I think that's my all-time favorite. It used to be called Sutner's, but now it's Wisconsin. It's I think Nasonville bought 'em out. Sutner's used to sell like, when they were their own little store, you could get like a 15-year aged cheddar for like $8. If you go in the regular grocery store, they're charging $8 for a pound of crappy cheddar.
Oh yeah, like the Iowa curds where they're like in the gas station, they're like stuck together like macaroni. It's disgusting.
I'm not getting that crap.
Yeah. Oh no way.
No.
So.
But you know what? I gotta tell you. One of my other all-time favorites is the Union Star it looks like a bag of intestines. They're selling string cheese though. It's but it looks like you're coming out with a bag of intestines because it's all wound up.
Oh yeah, it's like noodled and wrapped around and stuff.
Really
oh yeah, I've seen
really
that.
Long. Yeah, and then Burnett County Dairy, they have they got some cool cheeses in there. I had one, but I cannot remember the flavor. They had like a flavored cheese, and I thought I won't like it, but it was fantastic. And I forget, but their mozzarella is like world champion mozzarella there for pizzas and stuff, and just it's good. It's good. That's just out of Grantsburg in Alpha.
Oh yeah, I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But awesome, Mary Mack, thank you so much for your time today. This was awesome. I'm so glad I actually got to talk to you. You're one of my favorite Wisconsin comedians, and keep doing what you do. And when you get your political campaign, give us a couple signs. We're putting them up around for you. So.
Oh, that's great. I really appreciate that. I can't wait to hear the episode, and thanks so much, Russ, for having me.
Thank you. You have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right, that concludes this episode of Wisconsin Drunken History Podcast.
If you enjoyed this vulgar display of Wisconsin, please like and subscribe on whatever streaming platform you prefer. And remember to hit the bell on YouTube to be notified when we release new content.
Also, if you have any suggestions or ideas for future episodes, please send us an email at widrunkenhistory@gmail.com. drunkenhistory@gmail.com or head over to our Facebook and Instagram pages.
Thanks again for listening, and remember, as always,
Watch out for deer on your way home.